welcome to a special um, Factorio streaming. I'm not sure how long this will go, but I assume it will be about an hour like normal. I'm just gonna start playing or keep playing Factorio. Um, I think um, I think we're just let me actually do this. I think we are continuing to build out the basic base. Yep, we've got copper and um, let's see, copper and iron. We've got a little bit of coal. So we can probably start using the metal plates that we've created to start automating and making things with factories, as well as uh, researching. Yep, there's the research. So we've researched automation, which is the factories. Um, and I need to build those and start using them. So let's do that. Just a minute. Okay, perfect. All right. Um, so the next thing that I should do is make sure I have the metal and other parts to make automation. So I'll do as many of these as I can. That's good. Um, I have 49 inserters, which is good to start. While I'm making the factories, I'm going to insert additional copper ore that I'm carrying into the smelters, as well as additional iron. Um, and all this coal too. Trying to get off the um, conveyors, transport belts. Um, and I think while I'm at it, I will make some more power poles because I'll need a bunch of those. Um, it's hard to know what to start with when automating, um, when making factories to automate manufacturer. And I think I may have mentioned this before, but usually what I like to start with is a little non-intuitive, but you use it in almost everything, which is the electronic circuit. It's relatively easy to make. You can make a beginning assembly line for these that you can tile or put pretty much anywhere. The design I'm going to use needs some long-handled inserters, long-handed inserters, so I'm going to make some of those too. But it's very useful, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to make some more. I'm going to make some long-handed inserters, and then I'm going to make a green circuit um, assembly line. That's probably too much copper. Let me get a little bit more iron. And the other thing that I'll probably need to do is expand the iron smelting, but we'll do that a little bit later as we carry on. Yeah, okay, so there's enough for 61 long-handed inserters, but notice that this recipe uses normal inserters, so it will use up my stock of 49 normal inserters and then add some more. I don't want to do that. So instead, I'll maybe make 30 long-handed inserters. That'll be more than enough right now. Let's actually do 20. 4. Okay. And that's already used up some of my normal inserters, so you have to keep an eye on that. Okay, I'm going to look at the map. All right, so I just want to see like where are the things that I need to work with? Where are the patches of material? The coal line is actually kind of in the way, so I think what the first thing that I may do is move the coal line and the power lines over to here and then reclaim the old power lines. Let me do that. And then I actually think I think I'll build some more coal um, mining rigs here to fuel the power plant, just so that there aren't any issues in the near future. And I think I will also use electric drills to mine stone before I get into creating assembly lines for the sort of basic building blocks in earnest. So let's do all that. Usually when I'm rerouting, I build almost everything I need in that rerouting and then connect things up uh, as the last step, just to sort of make sure that the assembly line is not too interrupted. Um, but it kind of depends on the situation. It always depends on the situation. Just got knocked a little sideways from the power pole, so I got sort of jittered off the side of my disassembly line. Okay, and then I'm going to run the power poles. I'll do it this way. And we don't really need these quite yet. We might need those though, so I'm going to leave those alone. And then I still have some coal, so I'll just put it there for now. Oh, I don't still have it. I picked it up while I was demolishing the old transport belts. So I'll use the balance over here and just put them holding down control and clicking while holding it, fueling the furnaces in the smelting line. So we're looking like we're in an okay spot. I did not actually create the factories like I said I would. Oh, I did. There's 22. That's good. I think I'll build these electric drills while I can. Um, and to that end, I will lengthen this, and I can cut it. I can pick up the unused after I place all the drills that I have. And I think I'll move this lab. Yeah, it has 41 research in it, so we will move it to somewhere else, somewhere out of the way. Like, ooh, this is good, right? It's out of the way enough, and then I'll just put the research packs in there again. Okay. So we'll build, I'm I accidentally pressed X, which sort of shifted these quick bars around. I'm just going to put them back to where they were. And then I will take those are placed, and then placing the power poles so they cover, and then picking up the unused transport belts. And now we have a better supply of coal. That's good. So we'll look at the tip. This is just saying that we can transfer unused research packs through a series of labs if we want to, but I'm just using one lab for now. All right. Oh, wait. I feel like I'm not seeing all of the screen here. I should be seeing a mark as red button, which I'm not seeing. It's not very helpful, guys. All right, it's probably just a scaling thing. What? Okay. So I'm not sure how to actually mark as red since the button's not showing up for me. So I guess I'll deal with that later. Okay. And I'm zoomed out completely, so let's put that back where I can see myself. Okay, so I've moved a little bit. I'm actually going to move these power poles here so they're just sort of across the coal so we can move them later because I want to preserve the space that's right in front of the smelting lines in order to, yeah, that's connected, in order to run the assembly line for the green circuits. Okay, so the assembly line for the green circuits is pretty simple. So let's sort of lay it out, figure out what we want. I think, yeah, I think we'll run it north-south. So on one side you run the copper, and on the other side you run the iron. The other thing that I'm noticing is that the copper is very lackluster, and that is because we only have, I think, we have two copper mines drilled. So actually, let's build some more drills and fix that now. Okay. So the flow of the raw copper ore is just not moving very fast. So while the drills are building, let's doesn't really matter how these go. Let's actually just do this. All right, so there's 1, 2, 3, and then this. Um, okay. Place these here. That's good, that's good. Put the power poles exactly where we want to put the mines. It's an excellent idea. Couldn't ask for better. So that drill that I just placed at the end of the line is likely to deplete. Yeah, it's only on 2.1K, and one of those, most of it, is actually shared with the drill above it. So that's going to actually deplete pretty quickly, and I can then remove it and use it somewhere else. Okay, so we've got one there, one here, and one here. Okay. That'll help a little bit. We'll just watch that accumulate. That's pretty good, but I think we can do better. We have two more. It's kind of a small copper patch. I don't know if, yeah, that actually is just copper. You can see if I move it one over, it's stone, but this is just copper, so I'll put that one right there. And then I can put one more right here. And on that, there. Yeah, it looks like those mines are running. Drills, I mean. And that's filling up nicely. So that means the bottleneck is now the smelters, which is a better situation than the bottleneck being the mine. I think I need more transport belt, so I'm going to do that. The side of the assembly line that has the iron running on it is the side where we run the transport belt for the green circuits. So if we do that here, yeah, I think this will work out. We'll put the copper, we'll run the copper all the way over here and run it north-south along the coal, and we'll move the power lines one more over to get them out of the way. And we will be running or using copper or power lines in the assembly line for the circuit boards, so we don't have to worry about sort of pre-building coverage. We can do that coverage when we build the assembly line. A lot of people use blueprints, and I was messing around with that earlier with this little tab. You can see if you hover over it, these things say, this shortcut requires the construction robots technology. I disagree, but I think it's something that they must have implemented in a recent update of the game. It's kind of nice to have these sort of ghost designs that are blueprints, but I guess we'll have to wait until we develop that technology since we are playing vanilla here. So that said, there are people who have published for earlier versions of this game blueprint documents that you can copy from, that you can crib from, that you can look at for designs. So there's like a site called Factorio Prints, and I don't consider it cheating. I mean, you may, and that's totally fine. I can understand the arguments for people who do consider it cheating, but I personally do not. To look at other people's designs for particular assembly lines or different ways to make factories and assembly lines more efficient. People tend to build with, the most advanced technologies available in the game. They optimize throughput. They optimize the stuff that I'll show in the future about the Factorio calculators and throughput calculators and logistic calculations and so on. And a lot of folks put a lot of time into trying to get the perfect ratios for different large scale assembly lines. But um, I think it's okay to see what other people are doing and to get design ideas from other people. And I also think, especially for early game stuff, it doesn't really matter how efficient you are or how good your ratio is. But it all depends on what you like to play and how you like to play it. So for playing vanilla, my rule is that it's okay. This design is actually one that I memorized because it's easy to remember, but it was not mine originally. I'm going to start with 4 factories for copper coil and 3 factories for making the circuits. So I don't actually need this belt to extend as far as I have it. As I said before, the iron runs on the other side. So I'm actually going to run this down here and give it a little gap in case we need it. Giving things 2 gaps is very interesting and very common, and I recommend it. And the reason I recommend it is that later on there are some parts that really need 2 spaces in a run to work properly, and I'll show you those. And this just sort of future proofing for that. It's generally okay in those contexts to have groups of transport belts be 2 wide or 4 wide, depending on the kind of amount of space you have to work with. But again, in the early game, I think it's more about getting the components out and less about being super space efficient. So we can deal with other things later. Anyway, the design takes resources in from copper and iron and outputs to another belt, which will run right here. And that is the belt that will have the green circuits on it. So put this here. Well, this is copper coil or copper cable. Yes, copper cable. Okay. I keep forgetting the key combination. I think it's Control Shift and then Shift, Control Shift left click and then Shift left click. No, got that wrong. Control? Nope, totally wrong. Control Shift right click and then Shift left click. Control Shift left click. No idea. Let me look on the controls. What I'm trying to do is copy the settings on the one assembler to the next one. Build ghost new. So here it is. Copy entity settings, paste, shift right click and shift left click. Okay. All right, shift right click, shift left, left, left. That's good. Then I make this one be green circuits, and then it's shift right and shift left, left. Very fast. Again, good to learn these and memorize them since you'll be doing them a lot, especially in the early game, before you've developed robots to do it for you. Spoiler! and then the long-handed, you can have the long-handed span up to 3, I believe, in distance. But I only want it to be 2, and that's okay because the line, which is the sort of source for the inserter, can be inside the assembly machine that we are transferring items to and from. Okay, so normally the pattern I do is I use the power pole in between the two inserters from the feeds, which is why I put 2 in there. I don't have to. I could do it with 1, but especially in the early game with the slowest inserter known to mankind, it's actually, sorry, humankind, it's actually more efficient sometimes to use 2 rather than just 1. But it does, the efficiency is not hugely important at this time. You just want to make sure that the coverage from the power poles includes all of the assembling machines and all of the inserters. So this assembly line is relatively efficient. Actually, you could surround one copper cable machine with, I think, 6 or 7 green circuit assemblers. They just produce a huge number of copper cables. But the nice thing about this is that you can essentially grow it indefinitely in this case, the vertical direction. So if I want more throughput and more output on the green circuits, as long as the iron plate and copper plate hold out, I can just keep building these assemblers northwards until I run out of space, essentially. But the other thing to know or to keep in mind is that under sort of normal load, the assembler machine 1 is slow, and the transport belt is slow, and we're only using one side of the transport belt. Anyway, it wouldn't be efficient to indefinitely grow this design, but if you upgraded the parts, you got faster inserters, you got faster assembler machines, you got speed boosting technology, etc. It could be efficient for a while, and then you might want to move on to other more efficient setups if efficiency were your goal. So anyway, now we have a stout supply of iron and a stout supply of copper and a fairly stout supply of green circuits, and it is now time to start building other components. And we have some room here, which is actually good, so I think we'll just use the room that's here. The main issue is that we don't have, I don't think we have, yeah, there's a couple of other conveyor belt technologies that I think we should research. So I'm going to prioritize that. It's this one, logistics, and it takes 20 red research packs. I think we have 41, so it's just going to take time. So I'm going to start researching this. And the reason that I want this technology is that it allows me to split off supplies. So I can take a splitter and split off a line of iron plates and another for a line of copper plates, and I can split this off and keep one part of it going north and the other part going to the side, which I want and need for doing other sort of assembly paths. So logistics is taking a little time to complete. So I'm trying to think, what can I do in the meantime? I don't really think I can do a lot in the meantime. I guess I could build, what can I build with just iron and green circuits? This just needs iron. I could start building that. No, I think I'm going to wait for this the research to finish. And I think what I'll do instead is use the time that I have to um, make some more red research packs. That is a significant number of red research packs. If I actually finish that, it will be crazy. All right, while I'm crafting, I'm going to do a sort of walking tour to figure out how things are going. What are my supply lines looking like? Pretty good now. I was talking earlier about getting an electric drill working on stone. I don't know if that's super high priority. We have almost a chest full of stone. I think I'm going to leave that until next time. The research is up to 45%, and I've been streaming for about a half an hour. Um, so yeah, let's just wait it out. We'll just wait it out. Um, Primarily because I just don't want to mess up the flow of the transport belts too much right now. We'll restock a little bit since I need it to make the initial, manually build the initial special transport belts. I think I've got enough there. Oh, you know what? I think I've overcommitted on the red research packs, so I think I might, if I right click this, no. I don't know if I can. I feel like I should be able to abort builds. Indeed, it feels like that was something that I could do before, but now I'm not so sure. It might be like a shift right click or something. Cancel. Cancel all. Shift left mouse button. Okay. Uh, ooh. All right. And that should leave me, yeah, leaves me with a pile of gear wheels, which I'll probably use later. So I won't sweat it. Okay. Logistics is still logisticsing. Um, I'm just gonna do a couple of these, maybe 10 or, yeah, let's do 10 instead of all of them. Uh, left. We're at 85% on logistics research. It's good, it's good. And I'm going to transfer these over, and it looks like logistics just finished. Okay, so now I have these two designs. So this is the underground belt, and this is the splitter. And it looks like I can, I'm going to try to do 10 of each. And then I will also make additional transport belts. And then the other thing I noticed was that this is getting empty again. So I'm actually going to take directly from the belt some copper, and then that. Okay. The splitter takes the longest to make. It is most complicated. All right, and then the splitter is being built. So I'm gonna put the splitter here and the underground belt here. And now I will split off I think what I will do is I will I'm trying to figure out what is the best thing for me to do here. I think I will split off some here and actually take this and let that go, and then run this underground. Things are getting a little complicated, but I assure you it's okay. What I'm trying to do is combine these two. Okay, so I've got circuits on the one side and iron plates on the other side. And I'll actually run this back this way. Now I don't want to get it all the way to the assembly line that has just the iron plates, because then it will cause confusion, and we don't like confusion in our factories. So that kind of confusion waits until we have filtering technologies. We do have a little bit. You can actually set the splitter itself to filter, but I'm not sure how efficient it is compared to having a filter inserter. So I'm just going to hang with what I have. So the first thing I want to build, or make not even an assembly line, but just a couple of factories that do this, is the transport belt. So that's actually just steel or iron. Pardon me, steel is another resource. So I'm actually going to take some of this back and use that only when I need the green circuits. This one I'm going to pull right from, I think I'm going to do the base, like the beginning of the builds, on the left side and the products on the right side. So this leftmost side here will make gears, and then this factory here will make the transport belts. So I click this and I set it to gears, and I click this and I set it to transport belts. Then all I need to do is take the inserters and they need to go out to a chest, and then I need to power it. Now, I just put power here, but the power is not connected to anything, so there's no power yet. So just put one more in there, it starts going. So this is the whole point of Factorio, actually, is for each of the components that you wish to build with, you can build a small factory like this, a small assembly line, or a big one that's super efficient and cranks them out hundreds a second if you have the supplies to refill your build queues or your build supplies, and you can build whatever you want. So this this small assembly line will be working all the time as long as it has iron plate. And so when I run out of transport belts, I can come back to this chest and refill from what's building up here as I do other things. So that's like you get achievements for doing that, and it's highly encouraged to do that in this game. Um, Building everything manually is discouraged, and it's slow, and it's discouraging. So there's really no reason to do it if you don't have to. All right, because I built the transport belts here, it makes sense for me then to move on to build the underground belt next. So I'm going to do that going north. The underground belt requires a transport belt and more iron. So as I go up, um, I can either try to cleave off some of the transport belts here and keep going to the right, but I think what I'm going to do instead is take the iron from the end of this belt and do another sort of repeat of this, but not copy the chest. Instead, just build another assembly machine here where the chest is to build the final um, product here, which is the underground belt. So because of that, I actually want to bend this uh, resource line or transport belt this way so that the next iteration of assemblers or factories can work off of that iron. So that's the first step. And then the second step is to lay out the assembler machines. And I could do, why don't I do the shift right click and the shift left click, the shift right click and the shift left click, and then I have to actually choose this one because I don't have anything to copy from. And then I find out that I'm out of inserters. So I'm going to get some more iron plate and make some more inserters, and then we'll make inserters be the next job after the transport belt stuff. So let's actually build in 5 so that I have some stuff to work with right away, and then the rest of it. All right, so in, I think. Let's double check that. Yes. And then to the east, to the east, to the east, into a chest, which I need to build. So that's another thing that I ought to automate. And while I'm waiting to get to that part of the queue, I will put down some more power poles. Now, I want to mention that I've installed a mod that puts a light bulb on top of each power pole and on top of or part of most machines. That's what's called a quality of life mod, and I'm doing it so that it's easier to see what I'm doing at nighttime while I stream this game. I don't know if I would normally play with it. It sort of just makes the life of the planet more obvious, I guess. It's not necessary, but at least it helps see what's happening when you're watching a stream of it. So that's why I installed the mod. Just waiting for that chest. Meh. Let's continue. All right. So I want to make the splitter. Um, the splitter, make another chest actually. The splitter is similar to what we had before, but now it also requires the green circuits, which I can do by just splitting off this line and carrying this sort of forward and making this assembly machine in the next series be the splitter machine instead of the underground belt machine. So we'll do that. The splitter itself needs to be sort of one up from where you want to run the transport belt. So I'm putting it there, and then that. And you see it's starting to crowd things, so I'm going to have to start refactoring things. I also probably want to move this line, split off some and move it this way. So I'm actually going to split this off so that I continue the combined line to the north. And since I'm going to do that, it's actually going to take up some space. So I'm going to place that first. And then I'm going to place the assembler machines a little offset. But you can still see the pattern. Okay, so again, shift right click, shift left click, shift right click, shift left click. And then again, I don't really have this one to copy, so I select it instead. Looks like my queue is emptied out, so I can actually build that chest and let the underground belt assembly continue its work. And now I've got the splitters building, and I think the next thing I said I was going to build was inserters. So those basically require the same ingredients as the splitter. So I just gotta do this again. I am going to do it here. Okay. So 1, 2, 3. Left or shift right click, shift left click, shift right click, shift left click. Select something new. Make more chests. Place more power. I think it may be time to look at my power consumption. I said I was going to keep an eye on it. And look, I have caused a problem. So I'm using so much power that the power station can't provide 100% satisfaction, and things are fluttering. So what I should do next, instead of continuing to build assembly lines, is that I should upgrade the power station and add more steam engines. So I'm going to do that as a fairly high priority. Okay, so I want, yeah, let's do 2 boilers. And 2 boilers means 4 steam engines with my design. And then we have, do we have pipe? We don't have any pipe. So what I'm going to do is build all the pipe and then maybe take half of it to build underground pipe. So I'll probably have like 10 or 20 underground pipe and 100 normal pipe. Or maybe I'll just keep a few normal, I'm not sure. But you can see that I still need some iron plate to make underground pipe. So I'm going to get a little bit more iron plate. And you can also see that the iron plate supply is getting a little spotty. And that is because this smelting farm is not sufficient. It's just not fast enough to supply a full transport belt full of iron plate. So what I should do is probably build northward and build some more smelting farms to bulk this out. But I think that's lower priority to actually trying to fix the power problems. So let's go over to the power station and see what's going on here. I'm going to make 1 more boiler and 2 more steam engines. And quadruple the available power. And it looks like the boiler is going to need more stone, so I'm going to go over to the stone miner and get some more stone. Interestingly, I gave the chest a little bit of coal. That was not my intention. So 1 more boiler, 2 more engines. Now, see, I can only make 30 underground pipes with all that normal pipe, 187. So I'm going to make, I'll make 15 underground pipes. 1, 2, 3, there we go. And you can see that's already depleted my normal pipes, but I don't really need that many, so I'm just going to do what I have. All right, let's go up there and fix the power situation. And that'll be a good stopping point. Okay, I'm actually going to make these underground pipes so that I can walk through them if I need to and don't have to go around. Then I'm going to place 2 boilers down there and 1 up here. I'm going to connect these with underground pipes so that I can walk through them. 2 underground pipes here and here. Place the steam engine there and there. Then more underground pipes and a steam engine, and then 2 more underground pipes. of our steam engines. And then power poles. So we'll do that, 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 and that. And on this side as well. And I think this looks like it's out of whack. So we'll do that, and then I need to put inserters in here to feed the boilers. All right, now I'm seeing steam come out of, oh, I'm only seeing it come out of those. I'm not coming out of these yet because I haven't placed the power poles. Now there's steam coming out of everything. I'm going to check the power readout on this power pole, and you can see I now have 100% satisfaction, and it looks like about 20%, maybe 25% of my total power plant, which is good. So I just have to keep keeping an eye on it until I have total failure. What else? Something is wrong. What's wrong here? Oh, no gears. Oh, I messed up. Okay. Uh, that needs gears. Yes, that's got gears. It's getting gears from there. So this is completely inefficient, but I think what I'm going to do is build a gear assembler just to the north of this inserter assembler. Um, the other possibility, you know what? I'm not going to do that. That's silly. Instead, I am going to have this gear assembler supply this transport belt, and then I'm going to have this assembler take gears from the transport belt. And that's better. Gears like copper cable are super fast and very efficient. So that one assembler should be able to supply the needs of both uh, the transport belt and the inserter. And the reason it's not is because the next thing I need to do when I pursue this stream again is I need to what am I thinking? I need to expand the smelter because, as you can see, there's no bottleneck here in the supply, but there's definitely a bottleneck here in that there's just not enough iron plates coming through here. So what I want to do is build more smelters this way and add them to the supply line here so that there's still a good supply of iron plate to all of these assembly lines. So that's next. Thanks for joining me. I've been enjoying myself immensely, and I hope you enjoy what I've streamed and recorded. I'll see you next time, I believe on Monday morning. And after that, I may be on vacation on Wednesday, so it may not be until Friday or even the next week that I join you again on the regular schedule. But if I have time, I'll stream sort of ad hoc if I feel like it. So hopefully I will see you then, and hopefully I've helped you relax or get whatever you like out of watching these videos. Please follow and subscribe or whatever you'd like to do to stay in touch and see more of these videos. Thanks very much.